Howdy YouTube, and welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So today we're going to be doing a review and demonstration on the Sagola 4600 Xtreme, and this one here is the limited edition trophy truck. So it's a pretty cool color. I don't mind orange. I've always been a bit of a fan of orange, and I don't mind the black highlights. But look, compared to some of the other limited editions I've been lucky enough to do reviews on, I wouldn't say it's the greatest I've ever seen, but as far as Sagola goes, it would have to be the best Sagola limited edition I've ever seen. The last one they did was a scrambler, and it was just a terrible color if you ask me. I don't know what they were thinking when they came up with that poo brown, but yes, this one here is definitely much easier on the eye. So unfortunately, this gun here didn't actually come with the regulator, so it's always been something that I've always seen as a really good point as far as Sagola goes. Most of their guns do actually come with, sorry, I say regulator, but they're actually a gauge. So yeah, the little gauge that goes down the bottom of the gun, it didn't have one. So as you see here, I'm just gonna throw one of my spares on. So I must admit, I've actually had this gun for nearly a full year now. It just got sent out to me at a really busy time. It was like November, December last year. I didn't get the chance to review it before Christmas, and then the new year came round, and we all know what 2020 is like, just one hell of a crazy year, and it just sort of got thrown to the side and forgotten about, to be honest. And yeah, I've actually had the base of this video edited up. All the video side of it has all been edited up for like pretty much a whole year, but I've never actually got around to do the narration on it. So I ripped it back out this week, and I've been using it for most of the week, mainly for clear coat, but it is also more than capable for base coats or even your wet on wet sealers. But that aside, I got the 1.2 XL fluid tip, and I've got the DVR Titania air cap. So the Sagola 4600s have 4 air caps to choose from. You can get the DVR Titania, which is the one that I've got here. You can get the DVR Aqua, the DVR Clear, and then you've also got the HVLP. So personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the HVLP, however, it's there. So when these guns were new, Sagola were actually nice enough to send me out a couple of these guns and every setup that was available. So I got each one of those 4 air caps that I mentioned before. The HVLP wasn't really my favorite, but that's not a Sagola specific thing. I've never really been the biggest fan of HVLP. That's no secret to the regulars on this channel, but my main reason for that is that it just gets the paint out a lot thicker and chunkier, if that makes sense. So I found that they were pretty good for the HS clears that I used to use. So I used to spray Glazer about 10 years ago now, and back then I think it was even the H1 air cap on the DeVille West GTI Pro. They actually did okay, like it did fine. Like the paint reps and the paint manufacturers actually told our boss that you're gonna make paint savings if you use that. So I really didn't have that much of a choice in the matter. The boss just said, no, H1 air caps, every single gun, and that's it. So look, at the end of the day, it's not that I can't use the HVLP, I absolutely can, but I really don't prefer them. I find that the paint savings are negligible, and especially using the clear coat that we use now. So these days I'm spraying with Standox, which is another great quality brand. However, the clear coat that we're using is actually Standox branded, but it's the entry level of Standox branded clear coat. So the clear coat I'm using in this video, and I always use, is the Standox Standard Clear. It's actually a great clear, but it's a little bit on the thinner side. It's actually a funny clear coat, to be honest. It's a bit of a hybrid. It's like halfway in between MS and HS. It uses a VOC hardener, but it by itself, the clear coat by itself, would be classed as an MS. But then when you mix it with the low VOC hardener, it actually turns it into, like, it makes the solid content higher, if that makes sense. So yeah, look, it's a bit of a thinner clear, and they really don't like being hosed on with a HVLP spray gun. It's more those thicker clears that don't mind going through the HVLP spray guns. So I used to use the Glazer at 255. But all of that aside, the HVLP is there if you want to use it. I know that some people in America, well, I've heard that a lot of people in America like to use the HVLP for their base coat, and then they'll go with the more conventional air cap for their clear coat. So that's always an option. But another thing I forgot to mention at the start of the video is that these pots, so the standard pots, as you can see here, obviously I'm using the PPS2, which I do love, by the way. And yeah, the standard pots, on these Sagolas, they have like this sort of anti-drip ring that sits around the lip of the pot, and getting that thing off was an absolute nightmare. I skunned my knuckles when I was taking them off on one of the guns that I had, and then on this one I reckon I nearly stabbed myself with the screwdriver. Then I also took a nick out of the pot itself. So look, I've never hung around to find out, if you know what I mean, but I've always looked at those little rings that sit around the top of the Sagola pots, and I'm like, man, that is just asking for little bits of clear coat to build up and build up and build up, and you can't clean it properly, and it's just going to make an absolute mess out of it. So it's something that I've always liked to pull off the Sagolas. I've even had people leave comments like, hey dude, how did you pull that thing off? And I'm like, yeah man, like you've just got to go hard for it and just try and get it off. But as I said, with this one, in the effort of getting it off, I actually took a nick out of the pot. So it's a brand new pot, but it leaks like a sieve, so I can't use that. But that's alright. I mean, it's one of those things. I guess it's not the biggest deal because I do use the PPS, but yeah, it's a slightly annoying thing that you should be aware of, I guess. And a little bit of feedback there to Sagola. Also, like the lid of the pot on their guns, I mean, DeVilbiss and Iwata, they've just, I don't know, used a bit of common sense, right? They've got this slightly raised section on the lid, and then you don't even have to worry about the lid leaking. I don't know why everybody doesn't do it. I mean, maybe they don't want to be seen as copycats, but hey, it's a good idea. Just do it, please. Everybody look at the lid or the cap on the lids of the DeVilbiss and the Iwatas and copy that design, please. But yeah, look, part of the reason I haven't done this video is, I don't know, maybe I've got too much of a conscience, but I just felt like I was doing too many spray gun reviews, and I don't want to be looking like that guy that's like, hey everyone, here's a new spray gun, everyone has to go and buy it, you know. I just felt like, no, I needed to give it a break, like the whole spray gun reviews a break. And that's why this year you've probably noticed that I have taken a bit of a step back. But honestly, look, I have had a bit of a think about it, and I'm like, you know what, as long as I'm honest about the product, no one loses. And I've always said in my videos that just because I'm using something doesn't mean you have to go and buy it. I do want the best for my audience. I really do appreciate the size of my audience. I appreciate the fact that there's regulars that always come back. And yeah, all the opportunities that this channel has brought to me, it's amazing. It literally has changed my life. But on the other hand, I've got lots of people that have said my videos have changed their life, and it's really picked them up and helped them move and improve themselves in the trade, and that's great. So I guess it's one of those things that everyone wins. But as I say, look, you don't have to go out and buy one of these guns. Don't feel as if you have to. But there was actually one more thing that I would like to make a quick mention to, is that these guns here are really, they are great, and as you can see, like they're capable of doing some great quality finishes. I do really recommend them. I do rate them highly. But also, like, industrial painters really like them because they can just soak them. Like, they can go and paint a train or an aeroplane or something like that with all these sticky clear coats or sticky 2-pack colors and stuff like that, and then they can just soak them in a tub of thinners without worrying about any of the seals. So they don't, it's all metal on metal technology with these Sagolas, so that is a definite plus, and I'd be doing you guys a disservice if I didn't make a quick mention to that. So last time they sent out the Sagolas, they were giving me the 1.3 XLs, but this time they gave me the 1.2 XL, which is this gun here, and honestly, it is really fast. It's capable of a nice finish, but it's not too much. So for whatever reason, like, I was using the 1.4 in the Pro Light, and I found that was just a little bit too much. And I mean, to be fair, it was during winter that I was using the 1.4, so I might find that the 1.4 is a bit more suited during summer. But to be honest, like, I reckon with the Pro Lights, 1.3 all year round, it's really easy, you know. But yeah, what I did find with the 1.4 is that I was getting little hangers just around, like, the these little door handle areas where you see, like, the door handle areas there, that you'd sometimes just get these little runs. So those who watched one of my previous videos on the Jaguar would be familiar. they would remember that I used the Pro Light with the 1.4, and I did actually get a couple of little runs there. But with this gun here, I don't seem to be getting that. So yeah, 1.2 XL. But yeah, that's probably about it. Do I recommend it? Absolutely. Does it look good? Yeah, it does. It's a great gun. I really do recommend them highly. And yeah, as I say, look, don't feel as if you have to go out and buy anything. Oh, well, I remember, I got kicked off Facebook. How crazy is that? Like, I don't care at all, really. Like, I would, oh no, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, why don't I care? Ah, because it's Facebook, you know. I don't know, I'm just pretty easygoing these days. I've sort of calmed down a bit in my life, and look, I was even thinking about it when I was driving to work. I was thinking, shit, like, imagine that happened to YouTube. Like, no warning. They didn't even warn me that, like, oh, you've done something wrong. No, they just nuked my account on Facebook, on my page at the very least. You can't even email them or anything. Sorry, but you're gone. But I was thinking, yeah, like, what would I do if that happened to YouTube? I guess I'd just be like, oh, well, it was a good run. It was good while it lasted. But I don't think that YouTube is quite that harsh. Like, you've got to really do something wrong, not just have Gunman as your username to be cancelled. And that's probably why I was cancelled. I'd like to say a big thanks to everyone for watching, and if you'd like to support the channel further, you're more than welcome to go over and check out some of the merchandise we've got. My personal favourite is those spray suits, so they're a good quality Colad branded spray suit with the Gunman logo on it. There's also hats, drink coolers, hoodies and t-shirts, so be sure to go over and check out the link in the description if you are interested. All that aside, I'd just like to say a big thanks for watching, and that is enough to support the channel. But as I say, if you'd like to go the next step, then be sure to check out some of that merchandise. Thanks for watching, and until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.